Everyone by now knows that Shemar Stewart isn't participating in the Bengals offseason program due to his rookie contract. So, what is going on behind the scenes? Insight on that, an idea of when things could get done, and why it should be concerning for you, the Bengals, and for Stewart. That and much, much more right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. We are going to be doing some special audio-only series coming up, and you're not going to want to miss it. And that's the beauty. Take Cincinnati Bengals Talk with you, not just on YouTube, on your mobile device, but on audio as well. So please, please, please check us out there. Leave a 5-star review. And let's dive in to the Shemar Stewart discussion. And there is so much here, and you're going to, over the next few minutes, get an NFL executive's opinion on things, which is really good insight. You're also going to get someone that's as close to Shemar as you can be. Shemar Stewart's father chiming in as well on the situation. And I think that's where I'm going to start, is people are going to see that. I know I wrote this on Wednesday night for BengalsTalk.com. And when I did, instantly people on social media saying, oh man, the dad weighing in. Can't believe. The dad's right. The dad has a point. Shemar Stewart's camp has a point. It's very, very clear now what is going on, what is happening, and that's the point of this video. So we will get to what Shemar Stewart's dad is saying, but first let's start with Andrew Brandt, because he's a former NFL executive. He works for Sports Illustrated. He was on the Business of Sports podcast, a really good podcast that gives you a behind-the-scenes look at things like this. And I think it's really, really interesting what Andrew Brandt had to say about the Shemar Stewart situation and the Bengals.
They're basically putting in a default clause that says if the player defaults, and a default could be a breach like a discipline issue, a steroid or drug test issue, a morals clause issue, getting in trouble, being suspended, being fined, whatever default is defined as, you can void future guarantees. In other words, you can, if this happens in year one, you can say, well, years 2, 3, 4 not guaranteed.
In all 4 years of a first-round picks rookie contract, they're guaranteed already. Boom, just like that.
Shemar Stewart's agent is saying, nope, no, sir, because last year you didn't have the 17th pick, you had the 18th pick, and he didn't have that. And in past years, play like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they didn't have that. And the Bengals saying we're trying to create the precedent. So this is the one that could last a while. Basically, it's all about language.
And then he added this, and this is what I think is really, really interesting. That could go into training camp. This could go into training camp. And again, that's Andrew Brandt of on the Business of Sports podcast. If this goes into training camp, oh my God. Like, I think that's what's so intriguing here. And Andrew Brandt was like, look, it's really hard to, the Bengals are tough negotiators, and they may say we're creating this precedent and that's it. And if that happens, if that's what they do, if they hold the line, maybe Shemar does sit out. Maybe Shemar misses camp. And now we're talking about 1999, Achilles Smith showing up to camp with the boom box in Georgetown, weeks into camp. The Andre Smith video in 2009 where he missed a lot of training camp and they went back and forth but couldn't get a deal done. Like, now we're talking about a legitimate hold in, potentially hold out. Because if I'm Shemar Stewart, I want them to blink here. I want to be protected. And that's what's interesting is a lot of people are going to say, well, what do you have to lose? It's like, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen, and you want to be protected. And that's the whole point of being a first round pick. And so to default there and to blink and to break precedent and to do something that Amarius Mims didn't have to do, that Miles Murphy didn't have to do, you got to try to make the Bengals blink here. And what's tough is the Bengals haven't been able to get Shemar on the field. And I keep coming back to that. None of this is an issue. Negotiating the rookie deal is not an issue. No one cares. At least I don't care that it's not done on May 29th. And maybe it gets done by the time you hear this or listen to this. That would be ideal. Doesn't feel like that's happening. But it's really doesn't matter that the rookie contract isn't done right now. But what matters is if Shemar Stewart isn't on the field. And that's where it's tough. Because if you're not going to get the deal done, well, you better get the injury protection in place so Shemar can get on the field. And that's not in place either. And I don't know why. I don't know if Shemar's camp is being weird about that. But what we do know is what Shemar Stewart's father had to say. And this was really interesting. He was on the Fourth and Forever show.
The verbiage in the contract isn't the same as past draft picks who were drafted lower than him.
That makes sense. It tracks exactly what Andrew Brandt was saying.
We don't want any more than anybody else has gotten. We want the exact same that great player Marius Mims got. We want the exact same that every Bengal first round pick has gotten. For some reason, they want to choose to change verbiage up this year, and we don't think that it's the right precedent to set this year because he was a higher pick than the years past. It's not fair at the end of the day.
Makes sense. And what was funny, and I like this part of it, Marquez was like, yeah, I want to win a Super Bowl. We all want to win a Super Bowl. Change up the precedent next year when you're picking 32. And I like that. And I think overall, this is one of those things that it's rough that it's playing out like this publicly. And the reason it's public is because he's not on the field. I keep going back to that. Like if you get him on the field for the offseason program, if he's on the field next week, regardless of if the contract is done or not, no one's going to care. And if that's it. But if it's Andrew Brandt, if it ends up being what he suggested, and not what he suggested, because it obviously is what he suggested, but if it ends up playing out the way he suggested it could play out, where it goes into training camp, this is going to be a huge distraction. Going to be a huge distraction because right now, Shemar Stewart, right now, May 29th, is the only healthy rookie not participating in the offseason program. Only healthy rookie first-round pick, to be clear. I didn't go past the first round. It's probably true, though. Like, even past the first round, it's probably the only rookie draft pick not participating. That is an issue. That's an issue. Because if you're healthy, you should be working in this program. And a lot of people are going to side with the Bengals and say that Shemar's the one that needs to get his butt on the field. I disagree. I think if there's a clear precedent, and that precedent is here, and then you get hired by a company and suddenly they want to give you here, and you have leverage because you're a first-round pick. We're not talking about a seventh-round pick here. You're talking about a first-round pick. Talking about the 17th best player in the draft, worst case in the Bengals' minds. Worst case. And he's probably higher than that. Well, yeah. You treat me like it. Do for me what you did for Amarius last year or what you did for Miles 2 years ago. And that's not to say that the Bengals won't do it, but this can't get into camp. And if it does get into camp, then that's a failure. It already feels that way, but I'll tell you right now, and I'll say it on May 29th, if we're talking about this 2 months from now, failure. Don't set the precedent then. Give him the protection and take that clause out. And maybe the Bengals are waiting it out and seeing, like Andrew Brandt suggested, well, maybe we'll get him to blink. Okay. But at some point, these things matter. I was talking with Mo Egger about this on Tuesday on ESPN 1530. It's like, yeah, at some point, you're practicing. You do the offseason program for a reason. And he's the 17th overall pick. You need him to get on the field and get ready because you need him to make an impact now. And so if the offseason program matters at all, then it matters that he's not on the field. And I think deep down, everyone knows that it matters, that the offseason program matters, especially for young guys. I don't really care that Trey Hendrickson isn't there. That really doesn't matter. It's May. There's no reason to think that Trey isn't going to be Trey. Shemar Stewart, we don't know what he is yet. He needs the reps. He needs the coaching. He needs the technique help. Just like every rookie. That's not new. I would say the same thing about Abdul Carter. I would say the same thing about insert whatever rookie, whether it's a pass rusher, whether it's anyone. Like in Cleveland right now, they're having a discussion about Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett isn't there. Who cares? Who cares? It's all leadership and whatever. Who cares? Myles Garrett's paid to do what? Get after the quarterback when it matters. That's why he's there. To be disruptive, to get after Joe, to do. They have reason to believe that he's going to handle his business. But when you're talking about a rookie, that's much different. Trey Hendrickson versus a rookie, much, much different. So hopefully this gets solved. But the fact that Andrew Brandt making those comments, the fact that those align with what Shemar Stewart's father, Marquez, said, and it might be Marquez, so I apologize. It's probably Marquez, said on a podcast, like, it aligns now. It aligns. It's time to figure it out. And you damn sure better figure it out before training camp. Like, this can't go into training camp. And yet, if the Bengals have made up their mind that, hey, this is what we want to do with first round picks moving forward, and it's a broader picture, long-term picture for them, maybe it does. And if it does, I hate it. I simply hate it. I can't imagine talking, Shemar Stewart was out here in a ball cap at camp. And yet, maybe I'm going to have to start to imagine it. Maybe I'm going to have to start to wrap my head around it. I really dismissed that idea up until Andrew Brandt, who said that on the podcast, and then I know he wrote it for Sports Illustrated as well. You can check out both of my articles at bengalstalk.com. I do have a lot of people on here and whether it's on social media, they're like, man, watch on YouTube all the time. What else do you do? It's like, I cover the team, bengalstalk.com. That's why I mention it at the top of every video, every podcast. So make sure you check that out. The Locked On Bengals podcast as well. If you missed this week's episode of End of the Jungle, I thought it was really fun. Me and Andrew had a really good time. So make sure you check that out as well. And for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Don't let this Shemar Stewart thing go into camp. Until next time, thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.